Hello. Thank you so much for dropping by the video. To anyone who's new to this channel or new to the teachings of Bruno Groening, this is, what to say, maybe not the best video for you. This is my sharing of my journey with these teachings and in a sense, cultivating a relationship with Bruno Groening in the spirit. Yeah. And if you're brand new and curious, just keep on watching. God's in charge, not me. So, a few pieces I left out in part 4 that are very important. One of them is, I wasn't able to find my way back to peace and happiness and healing. And so one thing I started doing is working with different intuitives or energy workers, not what they were, but in essence, psychics, people who claimed that they could see things with their third eye or would receive information, and then they'd share that information with me. Because I was looking for solutions and I was looking for guidance. So this is a slippery slope. Because just because someone receives some kind of guided message doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's not true. Bruno Groening spoke about, he once talked about Lilo, who Freddie's wife, that it was okay to seek such information if you were doing it from a place of wanting to be helpful and to serve. But it gets tricky when someone starts charging money for such things. Now their motive is mixed with wanting to serve and wanting to make money. So that's not wanting to criticize anyone who does that. However, what do I want to say? That's kind of a side issue. So what I really want to say is that listening to other people is, Bruno Groening said, is the root of all our troubles. Now, it's one thing to go to, there's different names: psychic, intuitive, seer, channeler. It's one thing to go to such a person and take notes and then later use your own discernment to decide, oh, that's true, that's not true. Oh, I resonate with that. Oh, I think that's partially right. That's a very different thing. And in hindsight, I wish that what I did. But basically what I did is I took notes and I'm like, oh, this is true, this is true, this is true. I wasn't really discerning. And of course, the interesting thing is different intuitives will give you different messages. So it's not my job to criticize such things, but to share the teachings of Bruno Groening, it is my job to point out that we can't follow other people. Other people can give us helpful information. Other people can give us harmful information. It's our job to tune in and determine which is which. And this becomes even more so in the 21st century with the internet, when we're all day long, we're getting information. Some of it completely bogus. So another piece that I was doing is I was looking to people to heal me. Now, it's okay to look to other people for support, but no person can heal another person. The best they can do is they can pass along divine help. They can maybe help you take the next step on your journey. Kind of the exception to this is a totally pure being, such as Bruno Groening, who is able to take on burdens for people. But such beings are very rare in my view. And I was just like, anyone who seemed like they had a little bit of information, I was desperate. And desperation tends to not lead to the best choices. Now, the other thing is I shared that one person felt that what I was dealing with, it was early childhood wounds. And Bruno Groening spoke about that. he said that it's very important for the parents that as soon as the child is conceived, it's very important that the atmosphere be harmonious, because every negative feeling that the mother feels, that the infant feels. And this continues even up until birth. And so that it's really important to create harmony in the environment and for the mother to be in a state of peace, in a place of harmony. And that if not, that creates very deep disturbances. And I forget Bruno's exact words, but he said something that only someone who knows how to heal such things can do that. I'm paraphrasing here. So Bruno was speaking about this in the 50s, and now here we are in the 21st century. People talk about perinatal, natal, prenatal, before birth, in the womb, perinatal, let's see, I forget the technical term, but basically even trauma that can occur, they call it prenatal trauma that can occur in the womb, during birth, and right after birth. So modern psychology is beginning to recognize that these things are real. But the question is, who really knows how to address them? There are many people who say they do. And I worked with some of them. One of them who claimed to be an expert at it. And I believe him, that he's utterly an expert. But he had no clue. And the thing is with this particular thing, and this can be the case with actually many things, is it's very easy to make it worse. The prenatal and perinatal trauma world is full of people doing this work with other people, and then the therapist making a mistake and making things 10 times worse. And this happened to me multiple times. So once again, when looking to humans for aid, and of course this happens in medicine all the time, every chemical medicine has a side effect. It may be very minor, but the body's not designed to digest chemicals, and some of the side effects are very major. So I don't want to discourage anyone from seeking human aid, but to just be discerning. I think that's really, Bruno never told people not to work with doctors, but that we need to be very, very mindful. And yeah. So for a couple of years, that was kind of what I was doing. I was seeking out healing for early childhood trauma and seeking guidance from intuitives. And it was messy. It was messy, and not all bad. There was one particular woman who she was able to really connect with something pure. And she did hands-on energy healing. And when she would just rest her hands on my head, and I felt heaven. She was somehow able to connect to the one of the purest energies I've ever felt, and one of the purest feelings I've ever had. It really felt like home. So the thing is with human aid, and of someone who's less than the stature of Bruno or Jesus, and by that all I just mean is someone who's completely pure, or as pure as possible while having a body. I mean, who knows if I assume Bruno was 100% pure, but maybe he was 99.99. And same thing with Jesus, maybe having a body, it's just, but regardless, what I found out the hard way is a lot of healers and a lot of spiritual teachers are not of the stature of Bruno and are not pure. And some of them, a lot of people in the spiritual world are after money, power, or sex. I've experienced it personally. By power, I mean control of you or having you worship them. And I've experienced it many, many times. And That's not to say that all spiritual teachers or all groups or all healing modalities, but boy, the difference was night and day. When I was strongly on the path with Bruno, it was just so simple, healing after healing, and life just was easy. It was have faith in God and trust in Bruno. The other mistake I was making was I was looking to romantic relationships to heal me. And that, of course, that's like a death sentence. There's nothing wrong with romantic relationships, but they're not God. And they can be healing in a human sense of the word. But in terms of healing, as Bruno spoke of it, which is the removal of evil from your body, they can certainly support on that path, but they're not going to remove evil from your body in a significant way. Again, they can be very, very helpful, healing, wonderful. And they can also be the worst, the opposite. They can be the worst. The number one cause of psychotic breaks is ending of romantic relationships. So when we make a partner or a relationship our higher power, suffering's inevitable. So those are a few of the pieces I left out. In part 3, and I'll pick up the story soon and share the next piece of my journey. Thank you so much for joining in. Once again, I hope all the mistakes I made are of service to help others avoid these mistakes. And, a big part of my pain was like, Bruno, why is this happening to me? Why? And I really felt abandoned. Many times I felt abandoned by God and Bruno. And one of the conclusions I've come to is to be shown the difference between what works and what doesn't work. Now, I was living in Santa Cruz, California, which is like holistic, New Age central. At one point we had the largest New Age bookstore in the United States. And then nearby is San Francisco. And so it's like, it was such a holistic, spiritual, New Age environment, and some of such things are very good. Some of such things are helpful, and some of such things are completely distorted. Some of such things are distorted, and some of such things are completely wrong. And I had no discernment. Because it's a common New Age idea, like everything's true and everything's okay and everything's helpful as long as it's spiritual. And it's actually really not true. It's really not true. And I found this out the hard way. And I also found out the difference between surrender and seeking. So seeking means seeking something, some goal, a relationship, a job, more money, even seeking a specific healing, versus surrender, where you're like, okay, God, you're in charge. Show me what to do. You're the boss. I'm the employee. So let me put it another way. The difference between surrender and control. A lot of the spirituality I was presented with was actually about me being in control. Like, oh, I want to learn this, or I'm going to be in charge of my healing and my growth and my awakening. Whereas surrender is like, okay, and it's ultimately, it's always connected to getting something in the world, getting a relationship, a better job, looking better, versus surrender is like, okay, God, you're in charge. What should I do? Okay, God, Connection to you and faith in you is what's most important. Everything else is secondary, and being guided by you, everything else of secondary importance. Sure, maybe I want this, but you're in charge. Sure, I would like things to get better in my relationship. And that's not to say not to work on your relationship and improve it, but to put that second and put God in charge. Most spirituality that I've been taught up until I found the 12 steps in Bruno are in some ways very selfish. It's all kind of about me, and getting, versus surrendering to God and becoming more like Christ and Bruno and giving. Now that's not to, it's easy to go to extremes. It doesn't mean that we do nothing for ourselves. In fact, Bruno Groening said that you need to bring your own body into order first. But that's that's a very pure sort of instruction or teaching, but it's very simple to be like, oh, well, okay, well, I want to join a new gym. Okay, I want to do a new dance class. Okay, well, I want to do yoga 5 times a week. And again, love the gym, love dance, love yoga, but that's kind of me deciding. It's like, okay, God, I want to do a dance class. What do you think? Which class should I take? Okay, God, I want to go to a yoga class. Is that a good idea? If so, how often? It was like I was trying to direct my healing, and God bless me, I was just desperate. So doing the best I could. The thing is a pure path, someone can't charge money for it. And that's another really, enlightenment and surrender get talked about a lot, but it's very rare to find someone like Bruno who was just totally surrendered to God. Not charging money. I hate to say it, not sleeping with his students. Like he had a wife, he had one wife. Actually he had one, and then he had to divorce her because that wife said, stop your healing or we're getting a divorce. And Bruno's like, no, I'm following God. And he told his second wife, he's like, the help seekers always come first. And that was the condition for them to get married. And she said yes to that. So I hope that was helpful. And thanks for saying hi, Jisoo. And I'll be back in the near future with the next video in this wild journey I went on, in which I was really shown the difference between what works and what doesn't, and between a pure path and a very and mixed or distorted paths. Take care, friends. Much love.